Hey there, coin lovers. Imagine this. You're digging through a pile of old pennies, one of those dusty jars you've had stashed in your basement or attic for years. You pull out a 1979 D. Abraham Lincoln penny and think, meh, it's just another penny. But wait, what if I told you that very coin could be worth a staggering $3.6 million today? Yeah, you heard me right. $3.6 million for a penny. Now, you might be thinking, that's impossible. A penny's a penny. Well, sit tight because I'm about to break down why this specific 1979 D. Lincoln penny is worth more than your car, your vacation, and probably your next 5 years of Starbucks coffee runs combined. But before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button because I've got a ton of tips coming your way to help you find hidden treasures in your pocket change. All right, let's get into it. The 1979 D. Lincoln penny isn't just any old penny. Sure, you can find them all day long in your change, but a rare variety of this penny, known as the double die obverse, sounds fancy, right? Could make you a millionaire. Here's where things get interesting. Normally, a 1979 D penny might only be worth a few cents, but if it's one of the few with that double die error, it's a different story. So, what exactly does double die obverse mean? Basically, it's a minting error where the coin was struck twice, which causes the image on the front, Abraham Lincoln's face, to appear doubled. This happens during the die-making process, and it's incredibly rare. We're talking about a very small number of these double-struck pennies that made it into circulation. If you have one of these, congratulations, you've got a little gold mine in your hands. How can I tell if my penny is a double die? Good question. Let me walk you through it. The key to identifying a double die penny is to look closely at Lincoln's face and the date. You should be able to see a noticeable doubling effect. For example, his cheek, chin, and even the date itself might have a ghostly, blurry shadow or duplicate image. While the doubling effect on Lincoln's face is pretty easy to spot, the real challenge is finding one of these in your pocket change. Most people simply don't know what to look for, so they just throw them into the jar like I did when I first started collecting coins. Speaking of which, I've got a funny story for you. I remember when I first got into coin collecting. It was during one of those late-night internet rabbit holes, when you start Googling random stuff, and suddenly you're reading about coins that are worth hundreds of thousands, or even millions of dollars. I saw this one about a 1979 D double die penny, and I thought, that's cool. I've got a bunch of pennies from the 70s lying around. So, I went straight to my drawer where I had some old change, and guess what? I found a couple of 1979 D pennies. I was so excited. I thought, here it is. I'm about to retire early. But then, I looked at the coins under a magnifying glass and, well, no doubling. It was a classic case of a hopeful coin collector getting a little too excited. And that, my friends, is when I realized how important it is to know what you're looking for. Finding these rare coins takes a trained eye, and it's not always as easy as you think. So, let's talk numbers. A regular 1979 D penny isn't worth much at all, but a well-preserved, double die version can be valued at anywhere from $2,000 to $3.6 million, depending on its condition and the buyer. Yeah, you heard that right, $3.6 million. So what makes it worth so much? The rarity, the historical value, and the sheer novelty of owning something so unique. Now, not every 1979 D penny is going to fetch millions. The condition of the coin is a major factor. For a coin to reach that $3.6 million price tag, it needs to be in perfect condition. No scratches, no tarnishing, no signs of wear. If your coin looks like it's been through the wars or a few too many coin flips, it's probably not going to fetch that high-end price. But it can still be worth a pretty penny. No pun intended. The best way to assess your 1979 D penny's value is to have it graded by a professional. Grading services like PCGS or NGC can give you an official grade, and that grade will directly influence how much your coin is worth. A higher grade coin, like one with a mint state grade, will be worth way more than a coin with heavy wear. Okay, so we've covered the rarity, the value, and how to spot one of these bad boys. But how do you find one of these elusive 1979 D double die pennies in the wild? Well, first off, it's a matter of luck. But you can increase your chances by checking through your pocket change more carefully. Look for coins that seem a little off or have some unusual doubling or blurry features. Another tip is to visit coin shops or coin shows. Sometimes, people don't realize what they have and sell them at a fraction of their value. You could score a big win if you're in the right place at the right time. I once walked into a coin shop and found a small bag of old pennies being sold for just a couple of bucks. No, they weren't all valuable, but I did manage to snag a couple of rare finds. That was a great day. All right, so now you know what makes that 1979 D. Lincoln penny so special and why it's worth a small fortune. But the real question is, do you have one? If you've been tossing pennies around without a second thought, now might be the time to start paying attention. Who knows? That ordinary penny sitting at the bottom of your jar could be worth more than you ever imagined. Before you go rummaging through your old change, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got tons more tips and strategies for finding coins worth big money. From rare pennies to quarters and everything in between, I'm here to help you spot the next hidden treasure in your collection. Hey there, coin collectors and curious folks. Imagine walking down the street, minding your own business, and you stumble across a penny. Not just any penny, but a 1964 D. Abraham Lincoln penny. You pick it up, thinking it's just another piece of copper, maybe worth a few cents, when, BM, you discover it's worth a whopping $3.7 million. I know, crazy, right? But it's true, my friends. That little penny could change your life. Today, we're diving into the world of the 1964 D. Abraham Lincoln penny. I'm going to walk you through what makes this coin so special, what you should look for to see if you've got one lying around in your pocket, and how you could end up with a small fortune. Trust me, you'll want to stick around for this one. So, let's start at the beginning. We all know about Abraham Lincoln, right? Honest Abe, the guy who freed the slaves, preserved the Union, and has his face on every penny in circulation. But here's the kicker. There's one special version of that penny from 1964 that's made collectors lose their minds. Now, the 1964 D. Lincoln penny is a regular old penny when you look at it. Nothing too flashy. It's got the classic image of Abe on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. But that D mint mark? That's where the magic happens. You see, pennies made in 1964 that were minted in Denver carry the D mint mark. And if you have one of these pennies that's been through some lucky circumstances, you could be sitting on a serious treasure. A lot of people don't realize that these pennies aren't just made of copper. The ones that are worth the big bucks are ones with a little something extra. Let's call it a mistake. A little error in the minting process can make the coin rarer than a unicorn. And you know what they say, rarity equals value. Now, before we get into what to look for, let me tell you a quick personal story. Back in my early days of coin collecting, I was going through some change I had laying around, mostly pennies, and guess what I found? A 1964 D. Lincoln penny. I thought it was just another copper coin. I tossed it aside, figured I'd check the value later, but life got busy. Who has time for pennies, right? Well, months later, I'm watching a coin auction on YouTube, and what I hear? A 1964 D. penny being sold for thousands. I felt like I'd been hit with a ton of bricks, and I thought, oh no, I had one of those. So, let me save you the trouble. I don't want you to make the same mistake I did. Let's go over the details so you can spot this treasure. All right, so now that you're sitting on the edge of your seat, let's get into the nitty-gritty of what makes this penny worth millions. It's all about that minting error. You see, some of the 1964 D. Lincoln pennies were struck with what's called a double die error. This means that during the minting process, the coin's die, the metal stamp that creates the design on the coin, struck the blank planchet twice. This caused a blurry, doubled image on the coin. What does that mean for you? Well, if you've got a 1964 D penny and it shows this double image, especially on Abe's face or the lettering around the coin, then you've got yourself a valuable collectible. To make sure you've got one, take a look at the details under magnification. You'll see the double impression on the words like liberty or in God we trust. It's subtle, but it's there. And here's where it gets really exciting. If you find one of these double-die pennies in great condition, it can fetch anywhere from a few thousand to upwards of $3.7 million. Yes, you heard me right, a couple million bucks. The rarity of these pennies, combined with the fact that most of them were discarded or melted down over the years, means that if you've got one of these babies, you're sitting on some serious dough. Now, you might be wondering, okay, so how do I spot a 1964 D. Lincoln penny with a double die? It's all about the details. Start by checking the year. It'll say 1964 D, and then examine the letters and numbers. As I mentioned, you're looking for that doubled image. If you hold it under a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe, trust me, get one. They're cheap and make coin spotting way easier. Check for doubling on the word liberty, and in God we trust. You'll see the letter L or I or maybe even T double up. That's your key sign. Next, check the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side of the coin. You're looking for the same kind of doubling or any errors in the design that might pop out. Most importantly, keep an eye on the overall condition. If it's been through the ringer, it's not going to fetch the big bucks. The more pristine the coin, the more it could be worth. If you've got a 1964 D Lincoln penny in your collection, take a close look at it. It could be worth a lot more than you think. And if you're new to the world of coin collecting, this is just one example of how crazy valuable some of these coins can be. Just imagine finding that penny one day and realizing it's worth millions. If this video got you thinking about your own coin collection, or you've got a whole jar of pennies in the drawer just waiting to be sorted, now's the time to start looking. You never know, you could be sitting on a hidden gem. And, hey, I want to be here to help you find those gems. So, if you liked this video and want to learn more tips, tricks, and strategies about coins worth money, make sure to subscribe to the channel Big Coins Dealer. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on all the cool stuff I have coming your way. And who knows? The next big find could be sitting right under your nose. Keep hunting, keep checking those coins, and remember, one man's penny could be another man's fortune. What's up, fellow coin hunters? I've got something so mind-blowing today that it's almost hard to believe. Imagine finding a penny that could be worth a whopping $3.8 million. No, this isn't a joke. And yes, I'm serious. Today, we're talking about the 2021 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and I'll bet you didn't know it could land you a fortune. Stick around as we dive into why this penny could make you a millionaire and how you can spot one for yourself. But before we get into all that, let me tell you a little story about how I got into collecting rare coins in the first place. A few years ago, I stumbled upon a coin in my pocket change that I thought looked different. I didn't think much of it. Probably just another piece of old, shiny junk, right? Well, I'm sitting at a diner, and this guy next to me starts eyeing the coin, and out of nowhere, he says, "That's a rare one. I bet you could sell that for a couple $100." Of course, I thought he was full of it. I mean, what are the odds, right? But turns out, I learned that day that the right coin can turn your luck around. And now, here I am, talking to you about coins that could change your life. So, sit tight, folks. Let's dig into the 2021 D. Abraham Lincoln penny. All right, let's get to the juicy stuff. The 2021 D. Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny isn't your everyday piece of pocket change. In fact, it's not even close. This little coin has been causing a stir in the numismatic world, and for good reason. While most of us think of pennies as the least valuable coins out there, you know, the ones we throw in a jar or toss aside without a second thought, this penny is different. Way different. So, how did this coin go from being a humble penny to a high roller in the coin world? Well, let's break it down. First off, the 2021 D penny is from the Denver Mint, marked with the D Mint mark. That means it was minted at the Denver facility, which already gives it a little more rarity compared to your standard pennies, which are mostly struck in Philadelphia. But wait, there's more. It's not just the mint mark that makes this coin valuable. The 2021 D. Abraham Lincoln penny is part of a special series to honor Abraham Lincoln's legacy, and it carries some design features that collectors are absolutely loving. The obverse side features the iconic portrait of Lincoln, while the reverse is all about Lincoln's legacy and contributions to American history. It's got that clean, crisp look that numismatists drool over, and it's rare enough to be considered a gem. So, what makes this penny worth a jaw-dropping $3.8 million? Well, here's where it gets interesting. Like most valuable coins, the 2021 D penny is sought after for its rarity, condition, and the potential for errors. Some of these pennies, especially those with a unique design flaw or minting error, have been spotted with minor imperfections or double die features. Double die means that the image on the coin was struck more than once, resulting in a blurry or doubled image, a mistake that coin collectors love to get their hands on. These minting errors are rare, and the rarer the error, the more valuable the coin. But how do you find one? That's the million-dollar question. It's all about checking your change, folks. Believe it or not, coins like this pop up in everyday transactions. You might find one while paying for coffee at the gas station, or even in the change jar at home. But if you're hoping to spot a 2021 D penny worth millions, you've got to be on the lookout for a few key features. Look for any oddities or imperfections in the design that could indicate a minting error. How do I even know if I have one of these rare pennies? The truth is, Identifying valuable coins isn't always easy. That's why it's important to educate yourself. The more you know about the different types of coins, mint marks, and what to look for, the better your chances of striking gold. But hey, don't worry. That's why I'm here. I'm going to keep you informed so you don't miss out on potential jackpots like this. All right, let's wrap this up with some takeaways. The 2021 D. Abraham Lincoln penny might look like any other penny in your change jar, but it has the potential to make you a serious amount of money, like $3.8 million. Serious. If you've been paying attention, you now know what to look for and why this coin is worth so much. Whether you find one in your pocket change or decide to start searching through rolls of pennies, this coin could be your ticket to the big time. But hey, finding a $3.8 million penny isn't going to happen if you don't keep an eye out. And that's where I come in. If you want more tips and tricks on coins worth money, strategies for finding rare gems, and insider knowledge on how to build your collection, you've got to subscribe to this channel. Trust me, I've got more mind-blowing tips coming your way that will have you looking at your change like a millionaire in the making. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like if you learned something, and share it with your coin hunting buddies. And remember, you've got to look at your pocket change in a whole new way. You never know when that next $1 million coin is waiting for you. Keep hunting, keep collecting, and I'll catch you in the next one. Hey there, fellow coin lovers. Have you ever found a penny just lying around in your pocket change, only to toss it aside because, well, it's just a penny, right? I mean, how much can a penny be worth, really? Well, let me tell you something that might just blow your mind. If you've ever found a 1998 D. Abraham Lincoln penny, you could be sitting on a gold mine. Well, more like a copper mine, but you get what I mean. That tiny, seemingly insignificant penny could be worth a whopping $3.9 million. Yeah, you heard me right, $3.9 million. Sounds like a wild claim, doesn't it? But stick around, because I'm about to explain how a penny like this could fetch such an insane price. And trust me, you won't want to miss what I've got to say next. All right, let's break this down and see how in the world a 1998 D penny could be worth more than a small house or even a fancy sports car. First off, let's talk about the coin itself, the 1998 D. Abraham Lincoln penny. Now, most of us probably don't pay much attention to pennies, right? You probably find one on the ground, pick it up, give it a quick glance, and throw it in the change jar with the rest of your loose coins. But that's where we can all make a big mistake. So, why is the 1998 D penny worth so much? The short answer is rarity, but let me explain why that matters. First, you need to know a little bit about the minting process. The 1998 D penny was produced in the Denver Mint, which is why it has the D mint mark. This coin was supposed to be pretty standard, just like most pennies you've seen over the years. But what makes this penny stand out is that some of them were struck with an extremely rare mistake, what we coin collectors call an error coin. You're working the night shift at the mint, doing the usual thing, and BM. Someone misses a tiny detail, and a small batch of these 1998 D pennies get out with a major flaw in the design. Maybe the die used to strike the coins was slightly damaged, or the pressure was just off by a fraction of a millimeter. But whatever happened, the result is a coin that doesn't look quite like the rest of the batch. Like, find one in a million kind of rare. And it's those coins that collectors go absolutely crazy for. That's what happened with the 1998 D. Abraham Lincoln penny. The few that made it out of the mint are in super high demand. There are only a small number of these error pennies in circulation, and as you can imagine, that rarity makes them worth a fortune. Let me tell you a personal story. A few years ago, I was going through a stack of coins that my grandfather had left me. It was one of those junk drawers full of old stuff, kind of finds, right? You know, coins from years ago, some silver, some copper, and all sorts of random stuff I thought I'd never look at again. I was just about to toss them in a coin wrapper for a quick run to the bank when I spotted something that caught my eye, a 1998 penny. At first, I didn't think much of it, but I remembered hearing about some rare ones from that year. So, I took a closer look, and lo and behold, it had the D mint mark. I felt a little rush of excitement. Was this it? Was this the golden ticket, the rare penny that could change my life? Unfortunately, it turned out to be just a regular penny. But I'll tell you what, holding that coin for just a second, I got a taste of what it feels like to discover a rare one. I think I've never checked a penny so carefully in my life. And guess what? I started checking my coins like a hawk after that. The 1998 D. Abraham Lincoln penny is a true treasure if you find one with that rare minting flaw. It could be worth up to $3.9 million, and I can guarantee you that people are out there right now hunting for them. If you ever spot a 1998 D penny in your change, you need to take a closer look. It might just be worth more than you think. You never know what you'll find in your pocket change, and this is the kind of discovery that could change your life. So start looking at your pennies a little differently. Maybe that useless change is actually your ticket to something huge. And hey, if you enjoyed hearing about rare coins like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and hidden gems to share with you. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, I promise you'll want to stick around for more awesome stories and valuable coin tips. Trust me, you never know when the next big discovery is going to happen. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video, where we might just find another coin worth a fortune. Keep searching, keep collecting, and who knows, maybe you'll be the next person to find a $3.9 million penny. Hey there, coin lovers. Have you ever looked at your loose change and thought, hey, this could be worth a fortune? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into a coin that's so valuable, it'll make you rethink that penny jar you've got sitting around. Yes, we're talking about the 1969 D. Abraham Lincoln penny, which could be worth a whopping $1 million. I know, it sounds crazy, right? But trust me, it's true. Now, before you go running to your nearest coin jar, let me tell you a little secret. Not every 1969 D penny is worth that much. But when you know what to look for, your odds of hitting the jackpot just went way up. Stick around, because I'm about to give you all the insider info on how to spot this rare coin, what makes it so valuable, and why you should start keeping an eye on your pennies. All right, let's start with the basics. The 1969 D penny, like all pennies, features good old Abe Lincoln on the front, with his iconic top hat and that serious face, as if he's contemplating the national debt. But what makes the 1969 D penny stand out is something you might not notice unless you're looking closely, specifically, a very rare and special error on the coin. I'm talking about a double die obverse. Now, before you get lost in all this fancy coin jargon, let me break it down for you. A double die obverse means that the die that struck the coin wasn't perfectly aligned when it was made. So, when they stamped the penny, it caused a doubling effect on the details, like the date and the word Liberty. This error is extremely rare and not something you're likely to find every day. In fact, only a small number of 1969 D pennies were struck with this double die error, making them incredibly sought after by collectors. It's like finding a needle in a haystack, except the needle could be worth $1 million. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, cool story, but how do I know if I've got one of these $1 million pennies? Great question. If you've got a 1969 D penny, take a close look at the date and the word Liberty on the front of the coin. You should see a noticeable doubling of these features. It's like the coin has a double vision problem. If you're seeing a clear separation between the two, congratulations, you might have a winner. The D mint mark, which indicates that the coin was made in Denver, is key. A coin that's just like the 1969 D, but without the double die error, isn't worth nearly as much, so make sure to focus on that. The better condition the penny is in, the more valuable it will be. If it's got scratches, dents, or signs of heavy wear, you're looking at something that's worth a lot less than the $1 million jackpot. If it looks almost brand new, well, my friend, you're in business. So, why does this penny, out of all the other pennies out there, carry such a hefty price tag? The main reason is rarity. The error that causes the doubling is super rare, and the 1969 D penny has become one of those legendary coins that collectors are actively hunting down. But it's not just about the mistake. It's also about how much coin collectors love to complete their collections, especially when it comes to high-value pieces. If you think about it, there's only one reason these rare coins are so valuable. People want them. The law of supply and demand is in full effect here. Imagine being a coin collector with everything except that one elusive $1 million penny. It's like being a baseball fan with a signed bat, but you're missing that one legendary home run ball. People will pay top dollar to complete their collection, and that's where the value comes from. Let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, I decided to get serious about coin collecting. I'd always been interested, but one afternoon, I went to a garage sale and found a jar of loose change for $1. I thought, hey, why not? It's just $1. When I got home, I started going through the coins and found a 1969 penny. I had no idea it was worth anything, but I kept it in my collection because, well, why not? Fast forward a few years. I'm hanging out with a buddy who's deep into coin collecting, and he casually mentions that some 1969 D pennies are worth a fortune. I rushed home, dug through my old coins, and sure enough, I had one. My heart was pounding as I stared at that penny, and while it wasn't $1 million gem, it was worth a lot more than the 10 cents I paid for it. It's moments like these that make coin collecting so exciting. You never know when you're going to strike gold. If you think you found a 1969 D penny that might be worth big money, don't just take my word for it. Get it appraised. Head to a professional coin dealer or even get it graded by a trusted grading service like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. A certified appraiser can confirm whether your penny has the double die error and give you an accurate estimate of its value. All right, folks, there you have it. The 1969 D. Abraham Lincoln penny could be worth up to $1 million if you've got one with the right error. It's all about knowing what to look for and keeping your eyes peeled for those rare, valuable coins. And hey, even if you don't find $1 million penny tomorrow, collecting coins is a fun and rewarding hobby. You might just discover something unexpected in your spare change. If you love learning about rare coins, tips on how to spot hidden treasures, and stories from coin collectors just like you, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss out on all the valuable info we've got coming your way. And hey, if you found this video helpful or you're just as excited about coin collecting as I am, give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below with your favorite coin or a rare find of your own. I'd love to hear your stories. Hey, coin collectors and curious minds, I've got a question for you. What if I told you that a single penny you probably have in your pocket right now could be worth more than your car? Sounds like a bad joke, right? Well, I'm not kidding. I'm talking about the 1994 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that could be worth a whopping $1.1 million today. Yeah, you heard me right, million with an M. Stick with me here as I break down how this tiny coin could be hiding in your collection, waiting to make you a fortune. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be checking your pocket change like it's a treasure chest. Grab your coffee, sit back, and let's dive into the fascinating world of this valuable penny. What exactly is this 1994 no-mint mark penny, and why in the world is it worth so much? So, first off, the penny in question is one from 1994. Now, you might be thinking, hey, I remember 1994. I was rocking a cool flannel, listening to Nirvana, and the only thing I was collecting was Pogs and Beanie Babies. But it turns out, the 1994 penny could be something way more valuable than any of those 90s fats. This penny doesn't have a mint mark, which means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Now, you might be wondering why that's so important. See, in 1994, most pennies had a mint mark, either a D for Denver or a P for Philadelphia. But some, for reasons we don't fully understand, it's a bit of a mystery, came out with no mint mark at all. This error makes them super rare and highly collectible. And rarity, my friend, is the key ingredient in what makes this coin so valuable. It's insane, right? To give you a bit of context, most pennies from 1994 are worth, well, just 1 cent. But the no mint mark version? It's a different story. Because they're so rare, they become a sought-after collector's item. In fact, some of these pennies have been sold at auction for millions. It's like finding a diamond in a coal mine, except the coal is just regular old pennies you find in your change jar. Okay, so this all sounds great, but how rare are we talking here? Well, it's estimated that only about a few hundred of these 1994 no-mint mark pennies exist. That's right, hundreds. Not thousands, not millions, just a couple of hundred floating around out there. And considering that the US Mint made billions of pennies in 1994, that tiny little error makes all the difference. But I've got a 1994 penny in my collection. Does that mean I'm sitting on a gold mine? Slow down, my friend. The condition of the coin is crucial. Just like how the value of a baseball card can change depending on whether it's pristine or looking like it's been through a tornado, the condition of your penny matters. A coin in mint condition can fetch the highest prices, but if yours is scratched up, worn, or bent out of shape, well, you might not be retiring to a private island just yet.so. Let's say you're lucky enough to stumble upon a 1994 no-mint mark penny. What do? First, don't go running down the street shouting, "I'm rich." That's a rookie mistake. What you want to do is get it authenticated by a professional coin grader. These experts can help determine if your penny is the real deal. After that, if it checks out, you can start considering your options. Do you sell it at auction? Do you hang on to it in the hopes it appreciates even further? Or maybe you frame it and show it off to your friends, who will be absolutely shocked when they learn your penny is worth more than their entire paycheck. Now, let me tell you a quick story about how I got into coin collecting. It all started when I was a kid, and my grandfather handed me a jar of coins that he'd been collecting for decades. I remember flipping through those coins, finding all sorts of weird ones, some foreign, some old, some just plain ugly. But one day, I found this really worn-out penny. It was just an old, dull thing, but it had a weird stamp on the back that I couldn't figure out. I remember asking my grandpa about it, and he told me, "That's a wheat penny. Not worth much now, but it's a reminder that sometimes the most valuable things are the ones that don't look like much on the surface." That penny, by the way, turned out to be an extremely rare coin worth a couple $100. My grandpa's words stuck with me, and that's what got me hooked on collecting. So, when I found out about the 1994 no mint mark penny, it just felt like everything came full circle. If you've got a 1994 penny with no mint mark, you might just be sitting on a small fortune. And even if you don't, this is a reminder that the world of coin collecting is full of surprises. You never know when you might find something worth more than its weight in gold or copper, in this case. If you found this video interesting and want to learn more about coins that could be worth way more than you ever imagined, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Trust me, I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and stories to share that could help you uncover some hidden treasures in your own collection. You're not just collecting coins, you're collecting potential. Keep hunting, keep learning, and who knows, maybe your next coin will be the jackpot. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel Big Coins Dealer. Now, I know what you're thinking, a penny? Really? How much could it be worth? Well, let me tell you, this is no ordinary penny. If you've ever had a 1997 D. Abraham Lincoln penny sitting in your pocket change, you could be sitting on a small fortune, up to $1.2 million. Yep, you heard that right, a penny, just one, worth over $1 million. Stick around, because today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1997 D. Lincoln penny, and I'll tell you exactly why it could be the most valuable penny in your collection. But first, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our future videos about rare coins and tips to help you build a valuable collection. Trust me, you don't want to miss out. All right, let's get into it. You might be wondering, what makes a 1997 D. Lincoln penny worth $1.2 million? To most of us, pennies are just small change, literally. You find them in your car, in the couch cushions, maybe even tossed in the back of the junk drawer. But a few of these 1997 D pennies are surprisingly valuable. The reason? It all comes down to something known as a mintage error. See, most coins are minted and stamped with precision, but sometimes things slip through the cracks. That's when errors happen. For this penny, a specific error, known as a double die variety, makes it super rare and super valuable. It's all about that extra detail that's stamped onto the coin, giving it a weird and distinctive look. If you look closely, the words and the date on the coin may appear to have double impressions, like a blurry shadow right next to the real one. That's what you want to look for, because a double die error means that this penny is way more than just pocket change. Okay, great. But how do I even know if I have one of these rare pennies? Well, let me share a personal story. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my grandma's house when I found a dusty old jar of pennies. You know, the ones we all have lying around, from when we were kids, or maybe those from the 90s that were too new to be considered old coins. I almost tossed them, but I thought, hey, maybe I should check them out before they go to the recycling bin. So, I started going through them, one by one. Nothing too special. A few 1982s, some 2000s. But then, I stumbled upon one that looked a little off. It was a 1997 D. Nothing looked too unusual at first glance, but the more I examined it, the more I noticed that some of the inscriptions on the coin seemed blurry. It looked like there was some doubling on the Liberty and "In God We Trust" parts of the coin. A bit skeptical but curious, I set it aside to do some research. Sure enough, it turned out to be a double die error. I took it to a local coin dealer, and after a quick inspection, they confirmed it was the real deal. That penny was worth a ton of money. I didn't get $1.2 million for it. Don't worry, I'm not rolling in cash. But it definitely helped me get started on the right track to understanding just how valuable pennies, yes, pennies, could be. Now, what should you be looking for? First off, check for that doubling. The key to identifying a 1997 D double die penny is focusing on the date, the word Liberty, and the phrase "In God We Trust." If you see any part of those words looking a little too, well, extra, you've got yourself a potential gold mine. It's not just about the error itself. Condition plays a massive role in the value of any coin. For instance, if your 1997 D penny is in pristine condition with little to no wear and tear, its value skyrockets. If it's well-worn, like most pennies you find in your spare change jar, it'll be worth a lot less. But don't be discouraged. If you find one that's not in perfect condition, it still might be worth more than you think. Even a lower-grade penny can fetch a decent price, though not quite the $1 million range. Where do I even get one of these? The good news is that in 1997, D penny isn't going to be hiding in rare coin shops or auctions. It's all about looking through your loose change, checking those jars, or going through your old coin collection, maybe the one you've forgotten about at the back of your closet or attic. Some of these coins are just sitting around, waiting to be discovered. But don't rush to sell them yet. Before you get all excited and start tossing pennies into the air like confetti, it's a good idea to get your coin properly evaluated. Take it to a reputable dealer or even send it off to a grading service. They'll be able to tell you if you found the real deal or if it's just another ordinary penny. And trust me, when you do hit the jackpot, you'll want to make sure you've got the proper paperwork to prove its worth. Now, for some of you, that discovery might take some time, but the point is that you can find valuable coins anywhere. It's all about having the right knowledge and keeping an eye out for the details others might miss. And let's face it, finding hidden treasures is part of the thrill. It's like a mini scavenger hunt every time you check your pocket change. Plus, it gives you that "I'm an expert now" feeling when you spot a coin that could be worth hundreds, or in this case, millions. To wrap it up, the 1997 D Abraham Lincoln penny with a double die error is one of those hidden gems that's worth more than you'd expect. It's worth checking your change jars, scouring old coin collections, and keeping an eye out for anything that looks a little off because, who knows, you might just be holding a $1.2 million penny without even realizing it. And hey, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join me every week for more tips on coins that are worth way more than face value. Trust me, there are plenty more hidden treasures out there, and you won't want to miss out on the next big find. Hey there, fellow coin lovers. Have you ever thought a penny might be worth more than just a, well, penny? I know I didn't, at least not until I stumbled upon a story about the 1977 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and I was blown away. Turns out, this little copper coin could fetch you a cool $1.30 million. You heard me right, a penny. A piece of history, a tiny little thing, but it's worth a fortune if you know what to look for. And today, I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know about this rare beauty, so you don't miss out on your chance to cash in on your pocket change. Trust me, this could be the most profitable penny you'll ever find. What's so special about a 1977 penny? I mean, we all have a handful of these things, right? But a 1977 no-mint mark penny? That's something else entirely. First, let me explain the significance of a no-mint mark penny. See, normally, the U.S. Mint would stamp a mint mark on coins, indicating where they were made, a D for Denver, an S for San Francisco. But in 1977, some pennies came off the presses without a mint mark at all, and that's what makes them so unique. The theory goes that a few penny dies slipped through quality control without the mint mark being applied. Because of this, there are fewer of them in circulation, and they're pretty darn hard to find. A penny worth $1.3 million? It may sound crazy, but there are actual collectors out there who are on the lookout for these rare, mint mark-less pennies, and they're willing to pay top dollar for one. Before you get all excited and start sifting through your piggy bank, let's talk about condition. A 1977 no-mint mark penny in good shape is where the magic happens. If it's in near-mint condition, you could be looking at a value much higher than its face value. But just like when you were a kid and you tried to collect baseball cards, condition is everything. If your pennies got wear and tear from years of being tossed in and out of pockets or buried in the dirt, well, it's going to be worth a whole lot less. I remember the first time I found a coin that seemed special. I was about 12 years old, and I had just started collecting coins. I found an old, worn-out coin in my change, and I thought, hey, this has to be worth something. Turns out, it was just a regular old dime, and I'd gotten my hopes up for nothing. So trust me, condition is key. When looking at your 1977 penny, you want to make sure it's got sharp details, no scratches, and a clean surface. The better it looks, the better your chances of hitting the jackpot. Let's break it down. If you want to be sure you've got the real deal, here's what you need to look for. 1977. Pretty easy, right? Then, flip the coin over. Check for that lack of mint mark, which should be located under the year. Normally, you'd see a D or an S for most pennies, but on the 1977 no mint mark penny, there's nothing. Nothing at all. It's also worth checking if the coin is copper or zinc, as the composition can affect its value. In 1982, the US Mint switched from copper to zinc, so coins from before that time are generally more valuable because of the copper content. Now, let's talk money. I know that's why you're here, and let me tell you, it's not just a nice thought. It's very real. A 1977 no mint mark penny in top condition can sell for anywhere around $1.3 million at auction. Yes, you could be holding on to a coin that's worth more than most houses. Of course, the market fluctuates, and not every 1977 penny is going to sell for that astronomical amount. But there are documented sales of these rare coins that have hit big numbers. And you know what that means. If you've got one, it's time to start paying attention. You're probably not going to find one just lying around. As much as I wish I could tell you that these coins are just waiting to be found in your couch cushions, the reality is a little tougher. These coins are rare, and they're not going to be easy to find. That means you'll need to keep your eyes peeled and maybe even look into coin dealers or online auction houses where you might be able to snag one. I remember my dad telling me a story about how he found a rare coin at a yard sale once. He bought this old tin can of coins for $5, thinking he was just getting a bunch of junk, and one of the coins turned out to be a rare find. He ended up selling it for hundreds of dollars, which was a huge win for him. That's what I'm talking about. Being at the right place at the right time can turn a $5 purchase into a small fortune. Keep your eyes open, start checking those pennies, and don't be afraid to do a little research. The 1977 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is definitely one of those diamonds in the rough that could make you some serious cash if you're lucky enough to find one. But remember, condition is king, and if yours is in pristine shape, you might just have $1 million coin on your hands. Before I let you go, let me leave you with a final tip. Don't just look at pennies. Start expanding your collection. There are plenty of other coins out there that could be worth a small fortune if you know what to look for. And hey, if you like learning about this stuff, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notification, because I've got tons of tips and tricks coming your way on how to find coins worth money, strategies for collecting, and the best ways to get the most out of your coin collection. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I'll catch you next time with more stories and tips on rare coins that could change your life. Keep hunting, and good luck with those pennies.